In this module, you will learn about a network and its need, the evolution of networking, internet and interspace, requirements of a network, various communication terminologies like nodes or workstations, server, dedicated and non-dedicated, network interface unit, commonly used switching techniques, circuit and packet switching, various types of networks like PAN, LAN, WAN, MAN, various data communication terminologies like channel, bandwidth, data transfer rate. The process of conveying something to others is called communication. In today's rapidly changing world, it is very important to transfer data efficiently, at a faster pace and frequently. And it is networking which makes this possible, as it plays a crucial role in moving data at a faster pace with negligible data loss. As we all are aware, society as a whole has been greatly influenced by computer networks, and the world appears to be converging as we are traveling ahead in the 21st century. The way we perceive the concept of communication has been completely changed with the merging of computers and communication technology. This has greatly impacted the way the computers are organized and are being used today. The very first model of the computer, where a single computer used to serve the entire company or organization's computational needs, has been replaced by one in which a large number of computer systems which are interconnected. These interconnected systems do the same job. All these systems together form a computer network. Let us first understand what a network is. Quite often, we need to share peripheral devices and data among different computers. For instance, you must have seen in your school computer lab one printer connected to one computer, but taking care of the needs of all the computers in the lab. How do you think this is possible? It is because all the computers and peripherals in your lab form one network. These systems are all interconnected and enable you to send and receive data from one system to the other. Thus, if two computers are able to exchange information, they are said to be interconnected. We can define a network as any collection of independent computers that communicate with one another over a shared network medium. In other words, a computer network is a collection of two or more computers which are linked together for the purpose of sharing information and resources. In a network where computers are joined, you can share files and peripherals like modems, printers, backup drives, or CD-ROM drives. In such a network, each computer which is connected is called a node. Thus, a network is a series of points or nodes which are interconnected by communication paths or transmission media. A network may be very simple, with just two computers and a printer, or very complex with large number of computers, like the Internet, which is the world's largest network. When networks are connected at different locations using services provided by phone companies, people can send email, use global internet, or conduct video conferences in real time with other remote users. Computer networking is very important as companies rely on applications like electronic mail and database management for core business operations. Let us now try to understand why has networking become an integral part of technology in today's world? In order to answer this question, let us first understand the advantages of networking. The first advantage is that it facilitates sharing of files and software. With the help of a network, users can share data files with each other. For instance, in any organization, different departments may be at a distance from one another and separated physically, but their data could be stored on a central computer, which all the other computers located in different departments can access. In this way, all the users can have access to latest data at all times, and all the files and folders can be backed up to the local or remote shares. Another important advantage is that you need not install the software on every machine. Rather, you can just install it on the central machine. This cuts down the costs for the company, as they need not invest a lot of money and buy licenses for every machine. The second advantage is that it facilitates sharing of peripherals. As you are aware, laser prints and large storage media are very expensive. With the help of networks, such resources can be shared, which, in turn, decreases the operational costs of any organization. For example, if a company has around 50 computers, resources like printers, scanners, hard disks, etc., can be shared, thus resulting in a significant reduction in cost. A very interesting thing is that even the fax systems can be integrated within the network, and audio-visual content can also be streamed to multiple devices with the help of networks. The next advantage is that it enables sharing storage. You are aware that on a network, it will be possible for you to access data from any machine, which enables you to distribute storage, thereby share the database load on the network. This proves to be cost-effective and enables you to have copies of a file on 2 or 3 machines. Apart from sharing of resources, networking is needed for improving communication. A computer network provides effective, fast, and dependable medium of communication to all the users of the various computers on the network. Thus, 2 or people of different branches or different departments of an organization can together prepare a presentation with the help of a network, even they work in different locations. Internet is a very apt example which helps you understand this context easily. We shall learn about Internet in detail at a later point in the chapter. As you all are aware, Internet helps us communicate effectively and easily through applications like email, instant messaging, chat rooms, telephone, video telephone calls, and video conferencing. Another major need for network is that it provides access to remote database. That is, it facilitates a normal person to access any remote database, for example, accessing airline reservations and thereby book tickets. Similarly, you can access databases of trains, online universities, hotels, etc. as and when required. Remote control or remote access programs help you to troubleshoot problems or guide new users how to perform a task. However, networking also has some disadvantages linked to it. Let us now look at the disadvantages of networking. The first disadvantage is threat to data. There is a possibility that unauthorized users may use the computer network to steal or corrupt the data, and sometimes they even use it to deploy computer viruses or computer worms on the network. It is essential that file security is ensured, especially if connected to WANs. The second disadvantage is that it is difficult to set up. On a network, the systems are more refined and complex to run. In case of larger networks, it is even more difficult to set up a network. If systems are not properly managed, the services cannot be used. Besides this, larger networks may be very expensive to install and maintain. Often, an expert may be needed to run and maintain the network. Let us now learn about the evolution of networking. Networking started when the first network, called ARPANET, was developed in 1969. ARPANET, or Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, was a project sponsored by the U.S. Defense Department. The project aimed at connecting computers at different universities and at U.S. defense. With this project, all the engineers, scientists, students, and researchers who were part of this system have begun to exchange data and messages on it. Further, this has facilitated them to play long-distance games and also socialize with people. Thus, ARPANET expanded rapidly. However, the National Science Foundation created a new high-capacity network called NSF-NET in the mid-80s. This facilitated only academic research on its network. Hence, many private companies built their own networks. Later, these were interconnected along with ARPANET and NSF-NET to form Internet, which is a network formed by linking two or more networks. Let us now learn about the Internet in detail. A system of linked networks which enable data communication services like remote login, file transfer, electronic mail, the World Wide Web, and news groups across the world is called the Internet. It is made up of several networks, each of which is run by a different company and are interconnected at peering points. Thus, it is a network of networks which are interconnected and spread across the globe. This super network is more like a glorified WAN in many aspects. It connects many smaller networks together and facilitates the computers to exchange information with each other, abiding by a common set of rules for communication. These rules are termed as protocols, and Internet makes use of Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP, or Internet Protocol, or IP. Programs like web browsers, File Transfer Protocol, or FTP clients, and email clients are some of the methods which users adopt to work on the Internet. Internet has become a communication highway for millions of users with the rapid increase in demand for connectivity. Though initially it was restricted to military and academic institutions, now it is a completely equipped system for all forms of information and commerce. In the present-day world, Internet websites provide personal, educational, political, and economic resources to every nook and corner of the planet. Moving ahead to Interspace. Interspace is a client-server software program which enables multiple users to communicate online with real-time audio, video, and text chat in dynamic 3D environments. This feature provides the latest and the most advanced form of communication technology which is available today. It is the future vision of Internet. With this, the users will be able to communicate in several ways and from several sources instantly. Next is the requirements of a network. You should know that every network includes at least two computers, that is, a server or client workstation, network interface cards or NICs, a medium like a wire or a cable to connect, even though wireless communication between networked computers and peripherals is also possible. A network operating system software such as Microsoft Windows NT or 2000, Novell NetWare, Unix, and Linux. Before we deliberate further, let us look at some important terminologies commonly used in networking. The first term is nodes or workstations. A computer is called a node or a workstation the moment it is attached to a network. Every user on a network works on a workstation. Without nodes, there would be no network. The next term we would learn about is a server. A server is a computer which facilitates sharing of data, software, and hardware resources on the network. There can be more than one server in a network, and it has a unique name by which it is identified by all the nodes on the network. There are two types of servers. They are dedicated servers and non-dedicated servers. Let us learn about dedicated servers. These are often used on huge network installations where one computer is dedicated for server's job. It enables all nodes to access data, software, and hardware resources. It only manages the network because it does not double up as a workstation, and hence it is known as a dedicated server. Such type of networks are called master-slave networks. The second type of servers are non-dedicated servers. A workstation can double up as a server in small networks. These are known as dedicated servers. These small networks which use such a server are called peer-to-peer networks. On a network too, there may be multiple servers which enable workstations to share specific resources. A file server that takes care of requests related to files, a printer server which takes care of printing requirements, and a modem server which help group of users to use a modem are all examples of non-dedicated servers. Let us now learn about the next term, that is, Network Interface Unit or NIU. This is a device which is attached to each of the workstations and the server and helps establish communication between the server and the workstations. When an individual computer becomes a workstation, it requires an interface in order to help establish a link with the network, without which it becomes impossible for the workstations to share network resources or to communicate with each other. Fundamentally, NIU acts like an interpreter. It is also known as Terminal Access Point or TAP or Network Interface Card or NIC. At the time of manufacture, the manufacturer assigns a unique physical address to each NIC. This unique address is called MAC address. Let us now move on to learn about switching techniques. These techniques are used to transmit data effectively across the network. Nowadays, two types of switching techniques are being used in order to provide communication between two computers on a network. They are circuit switching and packet switching. Circuit switching. A technique which helps establishing dedicated and complete physical connection between two nodes is called circuit switching. With the help of this dedicated communication channel, the nodes may communicate. This circuit ensures full bandwidth of the channel and remains connected throughout the duration of the communication session. Even when no communication is taking place in a dedicated circuit, that channel does not remain available to other users. These are called idle channels. The best example of a circuit-switched network is the analog telephone network. In such a network, when you make a call from one telephone to another, a continuous wire circuit is created between the two by the switches within the telephone exchange and remains till the call ends. The second type of switching technique is packet switching. In this type of switching technique, discrete blocks of data of fixed size and of any content, type, or structure called packets are routed between nodes over data links shared with other traffic. The term packets indicates that the data stream from your computer is divided into packets of about 200 bytes on an average. These are then sent out onto the network. Each packet has a header which contains information needed for routing the packet from source to destination. You need to note that in a data stream, each packet is independent. The principal advantage of packet switching is that in this, the packets from multiple sources can share a line, thus facilitating very efficient use of the communication medium. With the present-day technology, packets are often accepted onto the network on a first-come, first-served basis. In case the network becomes overloaded or discarded, or in other words, dropped. This type of data transmission has become the basic networking technology for the Internet and most of the local area networks. Let us now learn about the different types of networks. A network is a small group of computers linked to a chain of a few hundred computers of different types like personal computers, mini-computers, and mainframes. These computers can be localized or may even be spread across the world. Hence, networks differ in terms of their size and complexity. Let us now look at the various types of networks. The first type of network is called PAN, or Personal Area Network. This is a type of computer network which is organized around an individual person, and it involves a mobile computer, a cell phone, and sometimes a handheld computing device such as a PDA. With the help of these networks, you can transfer files like email and calendar appointments, digital photos, and music. These can be constructed using cable or they can be wireless. In case of a wired PAN, USB and FireWire technologies are used to link the PAN, whereas wireless PANs use Bluetooth or in some cases infrared connections. The Bluetooth PANs often cover up to a range of 10 meters, that is about 30 feet. PANs can be considered as a special type or a subset of local area network or LAN, which support a single individual and not a group. Let us now learn about LAN or local area network. In this type of network, devices are connected relatively over a short distance. These are generally owned privately by people within a single building or campus or up to a distance of a few kilometers. LANs can link small number of computers, say 4 to 5 computers. But they are often used to link hundreds of computers, which are used by thousands of people. With this type of network, multiple users can share expensive devices such as laser printers as well as data on the LAN. Besides, a LAN can be used to communicate with the help of email chat sessions. These days, you also have wireless LAN or WLAN, which depends on wireless network. A single LAN can be linked to other LANs with the help of telephone lines and radio waves over very long distances. Nevertheless, the number of computers that can be attached to a single LAN is limited. The evolution of standard networking protocols and media has in rapid multiplication of LANs across business and educational organizations. Let us now learn about MAN or Metropolitan Area Network. This network can be thought of as a larger version of LAN and uses the same technology. You will find that this network covers a few buildings in a city. It can be either private or public, spanning over physical areas ranging from 5 kilometers to 50 kilometers diameter, which is larger than a LAN but smaller than a WAN. MANs are very high-speed connections which use optical fibers or any other digital media and are capable of providing uplink services to wide areas of networks or WANs and the Internet. For instance, in a city, a MAN which can support both data and voice may be related to local cable television network. The MAN and its communications links and its equipment are often owned by a consortium of users or by a single network provider who sells the service to the users. MAN is frequently used to provide a shared connection to other networks with the help of a link to WAN, because the technologies of both LAN and WAN are adopted by MAN to serve its purpose. Let us now learn about a network which spreads over a complete geographical area, like a country or continent, and connects computers with the help of various commercial and private communication lines. Such a network is called Wide Area Network. A WAN connects several geographically separated LANs. This is achieved by combining the difference with the help of services like dedicated leased phone lines, dial-up phone lines, satellite links, high-speed fiber optic cables, and data packet carrier services. Wide area networking can be like a simple modem and remote access server for employees to dial into, or it can be very complex network with hundreds of branch offices across the world linked using special routing protocols and filters to reduce the cost involved in sending data over huge distances. For example, a local telephone exchange in your area can be a part of WAN. The computers present at every telephone exchange link to other exchanges to enable you to talk to people across the world. The Internet can be considered as the largest WAN spread across the entire Earth. Before we deliberate further to study more about networks, let us learn about some commonly used data communication terminologies. The first term is channel. A channel is a medium that is used to transmit a message from one point to another. In other words, we can say that it is a pathway through which data is transmitted between remote devices. The telephone line, a fiber, coaxial cable, or twisted pair wire, all these physical parts used in transmission of messages can be called a channel. or it may refer to one of the several carrier frequencies transmitted at the same time within the line. Communication channels are categorized into three broad categories on the basis of their speed. The first category is called the narrow band. This is very slow and used for communication through telegraph lines and low-speed terminals. The second one is the voice band, which is used for regular telephone communication. The third category channel is the broadband, which is used for transmitting large volumes of data at high speeds. This is the fastest of all the three channels. Let us now learn about the term bandwidth. Bandwidth is defined as the range of frequencies available for transmission of data. It is the difference between the highest frequency and the lowest frequency and is expressed in hertz. For example, you will find that a regular voice signal has a bandwidth of 3 kHz. If the bandwidth of a communication system is more, then the capacity of transmitting data will also be very high, and in turn, huge amounts of data can be transmitted over a period of time. In computer terminology, bandwidth is often as a synonym for the word data transfer rate. What is this data transfer rate, DTR? Let us now look into it. It is the amount of digital data which is moved from one place to another in a given time on a network. As we have seen earlier, if the bandwidth of a given medium is higher, the data transfer rate is also very high. This can also be called as throughput, even though data transfer rate is exclusively applied to digital data streams. Data transfer rate is generally measured in terms of bits per second or BPS. It is also measured in a unit called baud, which is nothing but 1 bit per second. This is mostly used to measure the speed at which data is transferred from one location to another. For example, your ISP may provide you an internet connection with a maximum data transfer rate of 4 Mbps. In this module, you have learnt that the process of conveying something to others is called communication. Networking plays a crucial role in moving data at a faster pace with negligible data loss. A network can be defined as a collection of independent computers that communicate with one another over a shared network medium. A computer network is a collection of two or more computers which are linked together for the purpose of sharing information and resources. A network is a series of points or nodes which are interconnected by communication paths or transmission media. A computer network provides effective, fast, and dependable medium of communication to all the users of the various computers on the network. Internet helps us communicate effectively and easily through applications like email, instant messaging, chat rooms, telephone, video telephone calls, and video conferencing. Networking started when the first network, called ARPANET, was developed in 1969. It was a project sponsored by the U.S. Defense Department and aimed at connecting computers at different universities and at U.S. defense. Interspace is a client or server software program which enables multiple users to communicate online with real-time audio, video, and text chat in dynamic 3D environments. Every network includes at least two computers, that is, a server or client workstation, network interface cards or NICs, a medium like a wire or cable to connect, and a network operating system software. A computer is called a node or a workstation the moment it is attached to a network. Every user on a network works on work. A server is a computer which facilitates sharing of data, software, and hardware resources on the network. PAN is a computer network which is organized around an individual person, and it involves a mobile computer, a cell phone, and sometimes a handheld computing device such as a PDA. A channel is a medium that is used to transmit a message from one point to another. It is a pathway through which data is transmitted between remote devices. Bandwidth is the difference between the highest frequency and the lowest frequency and is expressed in hertz. Data transfer rate is generally measured in terms of bits per second or BPS. It is also measured in a unit called baud, which is nothing but 1 bit per second.